Good evening and welcome to the Next Gen Season 18 TCV8 League. We're here for round number 5 from the Red Bull Ring GP. And it's time for the mighty V8 Supercars to make their first appearance of 2 during this season, right on the halfway mark of Season 18. It's a fantastic car to drive. Great track. It should be a belter of a night for these cars. Let's have a quick rundown of the current standings. It is Next Gen Les who leads on 74 points with AMH on 61. Iceman has 57 with Jack on 53. Cam has 50 with Fourfish on 44. Vass on 31. Bruce Lee Harding on 29. D Whitehouse on 28. Traumatic Dave 27. Rally Mats has 26 with Shadow Stalker on 25. Johnny has 23. RS Jim 10. Tim is on 8. And Ultramatum is currently on 3 points. Red Bull Ring, 2.683 miles long, 10 corners. See the outright lap record set by Valtteri Bottas this year at the Austrian Grand Prix of 1 minute 2.939. Carlos Sainz, the race lap record for 1 minute 5.619. Again set this year by the Styrian Grand Prix. So let's have a look at the drivers. We have Iceman, LUFC, Vass, Shadowstalker, Bruce Lee Harding, D Whitehouse, Tim, AMH, Traumatic Dave, Fourfish, Les, and obviously Jack TM53 Synopsis. So go on board here with Fourfish as he's now got. Oh, he's actually gone back to the pit lane. So on board with Vass then instead. So we're going to cross the line up towards the Lauda curve, named after the late and great Nicky Lauda. As the car ahead of us goes for a spin, Vass takes avoiding action onto the outside. That's not going to help his lap time, but should keep it there. So out to the Lauda curve, we head up the hill through turn 2, then up towards the Ramus at turn 3. Here the brakes at about 100 meters. Turn it in. Oh, Vass trying to get the power down early, couldn't quite get it nicely though. As you head through the top of the circuit down towards Schloss Gold at turn 4. Again, hit the brakes before 100 meters. A tricky downhill braking. Got to be careful with the rear end stepping out. The car ahead of us had a bit of a moment. Hopefully, he won't get in the way of Vass too much. Obviously, his lap now ruined. Through turn 5 into turn 6 at Raucht. Long left-hander before you head into Worth at turn 7. Again, another long left turn. Got to be patient with the throttle. Clip the curve through turn 8. Whoa, big twitch from Vass, this V8 Supercar. His Falcon not liking that. Down towards Rind. Here the brakes, 75 meters. Get it tucked in. Then the Red Bull Mobile. Again, a little flick right in reality, but you've got to be careful because it can make the back end kick out as it did on Vass's car there. Luckily it kicked the right amount, but across the line. And it's a 1 minute 30.9 from GT5 Vass. 7/10 quicker than anyone on the grid so far. Les, he remembers the V8 Supercars used to compete in the V8 Supercar League that used to run seasons ago, so he should be tipped for a decent drive here today. Tim and Fourfish with a qualifying ban, which is why he's not going out. He's got a qualifying ban for avoidable contact at Zhuhai. See D Whitehouse currently in 7th place on 1:37.7. Time is up though in qualifying. Who's going to be the first man to finish? It's going to be Jack. Puts in a 1 minute 30.791, still 6/10 away from GT5 Vass. D Whitehouse. Sorry, a 1:30.7. AMH has actually gone quickest with a 1 minute 30.1, so 6/10 off of that. D Whitehouse puts in a 1:33.7, remains in 7th place for now. Bruce Lee Harding has AMH just ahead of him. Shadow Stalker coming up towards the final couple of corners in the number 10. Bruce has gone back to the pits. Obviously felt like his lap wasn't going great behind AMH. Cross the line for Shadow Stalker. He does improve, but can't improve his position. AMH Racing coming through Rind down towards Red Bull Mobile. Can he go any quicker than 1 minute 30.1 that he himself has set? The answer is no. Can Iceman? Iceman's gone off. He's gone off at the final corner. That's the end of qualifying. AMH takes pole position. AMH takes pole position from Jack, who joins him on the front row for the second time tonight. Those two are starting from the front. Row 2 is Les and Vass. Row 3, Bruce Lee Harding, Iceman, LUFC. Row 4 is D Whitehouse and Traumatic Dave. Row 5, Shadow Stalker and Tim. And Full Fish will start 11th and last on row number 6 by himself. So 14 laps of racing ahead of us. I think the ready to race screen is currently on the driver's screens at the moment, so we're just waiting for everyone to ready up, and then we can get underway here at Red Bull Ring. Here we go then, we're going to sink in, and for the 5th time this season we have 3 red lights. We are green at Red Bull Ring. The sound of the V8s roar as they come off the line down towards the louder curve for the first time of 14. Looks like we've got away cleanly with all 11 drivers. A bit wide there from Shadow Stalker. Someone's more on the grass. That looked like Tim. Up towards Ramos for the first time. Anyone looking to make a move? Yes, it looks like that's Bruce Lee Harding down the inside of Vass into Ramos. Get the job done. So up to the top 4 for Bruce Lee Harding, but Vass is fighting back on the outside, getting good traction. Down towards Schloss Gold. Bruce Lee Harding has the inside line now. Vass goes deep, trying to go keep it around the outside. Just about keeps it there. Great stuff between the two drivers. Vass coming out on top after turn 4 as they head through the middle sector. Line astern so far. Full Fish has gone up to 8th place in the first lap. D Whitehouse down the inside of Shadow Stalker. Shadow Stalker giving him the space. Through Worth to make that move into 9th place. Oh, and Shadow Stalker's had a bit of a moment coming out of turn 8. Carry on going though. Good stuff. Vass has gone backwards. He's now behind both Bruce and Iceman, down in 6th place. I think Dave isn't too far away from them, but far enough that he can look into any sort of moves. Vass looking to the inside of Iceman, sends it down the inside of the louder curve. just about pulls it off, but he's had a poor exit, which means Iceman should get it back on the exit. And here comes Dramatic Dave. There goes Tim in the background, spinning to the inside. Vass overtaken by Iceman. He's got to be careful here because Dramatic Dave could get a good exit here out of Ramus. Iceman a bit wide actually coming out of Ramus. That could enable Vass a good run. Yes, it does. Side by side once again, heading down the top of the circuit, down towards Schlossgold. They both hit the brakes. Vass should keep a hold of this one unless Iceman can try and make a bit of a switchback move. Can't quite make it work. Well up ahead. Jack on the tail of Les. Tim now disconnects once again tonight. I reckon it's because he's been playing Project Cars 3. They've just gone, you know what, you're gonna disconnect from Project Cars 2, you need to come back to your new game. Good evening, Belly. How are you, mate? Hope you are well. Joined us for the TCV8 League here on Project Cars 2 at NXTGEN. Jack still looking to try and get past Les, whilst AMH is now 2.2 seconds up the road. And absolutely flying, a 1 minute 30.6 last time around. Jack not quite getting the exit he wanted out of turn 1. And it means he's going to miss the opportunity. Vass is past Iceman. As we saw, he's looking to get onto the back of Bruce Lee Harding. Well, thank you, Belly. Hopefully you're going to enjoy the racing. V8 Supercars, you can't go wrong with these sorts of cars. Line astern then between Bruce Lee Harding and GT5 Vass. Bruce in the white with flames and Vass in the black with flames. Basically teammate cars. Vass just getting the front end to bite a little bit nicer than Bruce Lee Harding, getting up the inside. Have the outside for turn number 6. No need to worry about that because he gets the job done. Back up into 4th place for Vass. Lap 3, and there's plenty of moves going on so far. Well, I hope so, Belly. Especially, I especially hope it's cleaner than their All-Stars iRacing series, because that was a bit interesting from the V8 boys. But so we got a very, very interesting race to come in the V8 Supercars later this season. Long Beach. I think round 8 or 9 later this season. The V8 Supercars come back out to play after tonight. Continue to watch fast, but the battle is now between Bruce Lee Harding and Iceman as they come out of Ramus down towards Schlossgold for the 4th time of 14. Iceman looking to get on the inside again. Bruce Lee Harding has been done by that move, but he has managed to keep it to the inside of Bruce. A bit nicer there. Just managed to get the exit a little bit better to keep it alongside Iceman heading into the middle set of corners. Any Murrayisms? Probably not. Well, probably not tonight. But AMH leading the way from Les from Jack. Jack now has the company of Vass. Vass is... Oh, that is interesting in the background. That looks like Bruce Lee Harding in the barriers. Bruce Lee Harding in the barriers at turn 1, the Lauda curve. So Bruce down to 8th place. Iceman into 5th, Traumatic Dave in 6th. Fort Fish started at the back of this race in 11th place. He's now into 7th, and he's not too far away from Traumatic Dave. See the field just a little bit spread out at the moment. Generally, what happens in this race is you get a frantic start, a bit of a calmer middle, and then it all comes back together for the final 5 or so laps. Jack going sideways going into Ramus. Jack still trying to get on terms here with Les. Les doing a wonderful job at the top of the table. I see AMH trying to keep closing that gap now. AMH this season is in the Opel Astra when it's the open races, which means he's in a tougher car this year, and he's found it tough to begin at the start of this year to keep the points consistent. Jack still trying to look for a move, or even maybe trying to work together, but I think AMH, you said a 129.9. That's faster than qualifying. That's some insane pace going on with AMH. I mean, the leading car is unique, except for the cars behind it. But AMH is making that car work beautifully in the circumstances, as Les runs a little bit wide coming out of Schlossgold. It's probably your closest battle on circuit right now, just coming up towards the halfway point of the race. Bruce Lee Harding passed Fort Fish. I think Fort Fish made a mistake somewhere, but Bruce now looking to close down Traumatic Dave. He's got 2.9 seconds to go. To the back of Traumatic Dave. That'd be a nice place for him to try and get. Meanwhile, Jack once again up towards Ramus we come. Looking at the back of Les's car. He's going to be able to draw the back of that thing with his eyes closed after this race if he keeps staying behind it. Once again, Jack goes slightly deeper. Unable to make a move. Vass looked a bit weird coming out of Ramus, but could just be the fact that he was a bit tighter on the exit. And side-by-side action between Traumatic Dave and Bruce Lee Harding. Bruce Lee Harding gets the move sorted. So maybe a mistake from Traumatic Dave to lose that much time in that short space of track. It's allowed Bruce Lee Hunting back up into the top 6. He's got a long way to go to Iceman, and I think it's going to be a lot more difficult to catch him. I wonder if Bruce just had a bit of a... Oh, there goes Traumatic Dave, bit sideways, good save. Good bit of car control there from Traumatic Dave. Heading through the middle loop. I think Bruce Lee Hunting, as he came through this right-hander, it's almost like the car got sideways, he went to catch it, and it just gripped up and fired him off. And it looks like Jack might actually have a good run this time coming out of the Lauda curve. Could he be getting alongside? On board with Jack as we head into Ramus. Les giving him just about a car's width again. Jack looking to go a bit deeper, using the shallower camber to allow the traction to go down, using the grip. Once again though, Les stays ahead. Jack trying every sort of different line he can, trying to gain any sort of edge over Les. He braked a lot earlier, Les a bit deeper, that could help out Jack. Bit of a twitch though, means he loses what he gains. Through Worth, up towards Rind. Across the line they go, and Les continues to keep second place, whilst AMH is driving away at the front of this pack. Just 5 more laps to go. It's really weird. Jack looks like as he's braking into Ramus, he's making the back end tweak out. They've got to be careful because Vass behind is starting to catch him back up. Vass with a 1 minute 30.6. Running similar times. To AMH at the front. Four fish, he's in 8th place at the moment. He's not too far away from Traumatic Dave. But back at the front. Jack down to P5. Not ideal this for Jack now because he's got time to... He's not really got much time to try and get anything back after that. So Les is continuing to be in 2nd place, Vass is in 3rd, Iceman now 4th, Jack 5th, Bruce Lee Harding in 6th, there's Dramatic Dave, 4fish, Shadow Stalker, who's now got D. Whitehouse behind him, up towards Ramus, side by side. D. Whitehouse is very, very wide. It allows Shadow Stalker back through. Shadow Stalker into Schloss Gold. The racing just a bit spread out at the moment. Hopefully it's going to close back up in the next few laps, because we've only got a few laps left, 2.5 really. Vass starting to get onto the back of Les, coming on towards the final lap. Penultimate lap we're on now, 9/10 of a second is the gap. It's starting to look a little bit tasty as Vass just has a little bit of a moment. Gradually closing in. 1 second. He's a little bit slow through that middle corner though, Vast. Not quite getting the line right. Meanwhile, we've got a bit of a battle. Developing for 7th place between Dramatic Dave and 4fish. Back to the front, they're on the final lap. There's a yellow flag out. It's just gone in now. It looks like D. Whitehouse has decided that he doesn't enjoy the V8 supercars, as Shadowstalker now gets lapped by AMH at the top of the map. But Vass on the tail of Les, 4/10 of a second, heading up towards Ramus. Vass still on the back, but at the front it's going to be AMH Racing who takes the victory here at Red Bull Ring. Les, is he going to hang on through the final corner? Looks like he will do. Les holds on to second from GT5 Vass. Iceman will be in 4th place. Steady drive by him. Jack after. So what happened to him? He takes a top 5, which he should be pleased about. It's a good result in the end. Bruce Lee Harding will take 6th place. It's a good sign of things to come. It's just a shame about his off at turn 1. Traumatic Dave will beat Four Fish for 7th place. Shadowstalker 9th. D. Whitehouse is in 10th. So, confirmation there. AMH will win this race from Les. A time of 1 minute 29.031. That is a sensational time to take the bonus point for fastest lap as well. Les 2nd, Fast 3rd, Iceman 4th, Jack is in 5th, Bruce Lee Harding 6th, Traumatic Dave 7th, Four Fish in 8th, Shadowstalker 9th, D. Whitehouse is in 10th place to finalise the order. So the question is, next week we have a break week from the TCV8. We're back in 2 weeks' time when the guys head to Imola, a fantastic circuit which produces fantastic racing, and all in all, one not to miss in 2 weeks' time, so do join us then. Next up on the channel will be my point of view from the NXTGEN Paramax Clio Cup from Red Bull Ring, my point of view of it, so do stay tuned for that one. But from myself and everyone here, thank you to Paramax for sponsoring the league, and thank you for watching tonight. Join us in 2 weeks' time. But until then, good night.